And we back like bra straps. It's Voch Lombardi. We're here to take a look at cornerbacks today. We're doing the position ranking for it. Top 10. It was 10 guys I really liked. And it's probably some more guys that I do like as well that didn't make this list, but I can only do 10. That doesn't mean they're trash. I just, you're 11th. You know what I mean? So a lot of these guys are going to be different. Some of them are going to be similar. I'm going to try to break down some of those things and rank them how I like them. Now, just like running backs, the success of these cornerbacks is going to greatly depend on the team they go to, the coaching staff, the system that they're in, and if they're compatible with that system, or can they be coached into it. And I'm definitely going to get into a lot of that. We got some guys that are better at zone, some guys better at man. We'll get into all that. But let's run it for the cardio. Let's jump right into it. I don't want to hold y'all up too long because I'm probably going to drop the safety video directly after this. Not directly, but a little bit later. Let's go Javonte Williams, cornerback from Vanderbilt. What I really liked about Javonte, first of all, he's a long, lengthy guy. And you know what? Let me say this. At first, I kind of favored the corner that can move better over the lengthy guy. But what we're seeing, and especially since like Jalen Ramsey came out with his thing, right? We're seeing a lot more 6-foot cornerbacks that can move a little bit. Now, Javonte's like 6'2", 6'3" or so. Chat box helped me on all these guys. But Javonte is a bigger guy that can move around a little bit. He's probably like a 4'4" guy. I don't really want him turning too much. I don't want him like doing Superman covery stuff where he's got to, cover the boundary and then go inside or whatever, right? Also, let me say this. I don't think this is a year where there's a whole bunch of nickel corners. I think it's a lot of boundary guys. It's a lot of number 2 corners, complimentary cats. It's a few number 1 guys. We'll talk about those in a few. But Javonte Williams is a guy I think he'll really thrive in like a cover 3 zone type of look. Just where he doesn't have to man cover somebody. There's always help to the inside to where he can just run up the sideline and be a long, can kind of run guy. You know what I mean? To where if you're trying to go up the sideline, my bad. If you're trying to go up the sideline with him, he can use his length to his advantage. His phone got me shook. My bad. He can use his length to his advantage. So I like Javonte, but something else about him is that his cornerback skill set, like his technical stuff, I don't think he's really good at it. But what I like is that he can overcome his not good at cornerback stuff, but he still sticks to guys. He's still really fantastic in coverage. So I really like that. He can probably develop or whatnot, and you can probably teach him some more cornerback technical stuff, and he'll be even better. So I think Javonte has a pretty high ceiling depending on the system that he goes to. Trayvon Mullen. So when I was listening to the pundits and the draft Illuminati, Trayvon Mullen was like in their top 3 somewhere. Okay, and I try not to listen to pundits prior to me doing my own research, but I just stumbled across this one. It just hit me in the face. I wasn't even looking for information here, so I was like, cool. Let me watch Trayvon early. So I watched Trayvon early. I was like, okay, cool. Trayvon's cool. And then I watched somebody else. And then I watched somebody else. And next thing you know, Trayvon's falling like 2 or 3 spots, right? And he ended up at number 9, which is okay. Because number 9 is still top 10. However, Trayvon ain't really that top 3, top 4 guy that the pundits were really trying to push us on earlier in the season or whatnot. I like Trayvon Mullen like as a boundary corner. He's pretty solid in man coverage, but the more complex the routes get, the more he gets lost. Like when they when you try to hit him with like a post corner or something like that, or a stop and go, you really get to see him fumbling around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like he'll really fumble off the route. He doesn't really have that stickiness. That's probably a Voch Lombardi word I don't use very much, but that stickiness, he doesn't really stick to receivers when they run these complex routes. And when you get to the next level, there's going to be some complex route runners. So he might want to fix that or whatnot. But if he has like a simple job, I think he'll be a pretty good nickel guy. Honestly, he's kind of taller, and a lot of guys go for the smaller cats to be the nickel guys or whatever. If you need a guy to go cover a tight end or something, or to cover a slide or whatnot, sure, put Trayvon Mullen on him and see what happens. Think about Lil Jordan Humphrey and how he plays slot. right? If you want somebody with size that can kind of go two ways, but they're not going to run too many routes, sure, Trayvon Mullen is probably more matchup based. You know, don't put him on like a Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Amari Cooper type of guy, but put him on like a nickel guy, like a Larry Fitzgerald or something. Even he can lose in that battle, but you know, just someone that's not gonna run all the damn routes, that's gonna, you know, not really get you all over the place. But I do think he has some value when the routes are simpler. I keep wanting to say Isaiah Thomas. I keep wanting to say it. Isaiah Johnson from Houston. I like him as well. He's another one of those lengthy guys, but he brings a lot more athleticism to the table, right? I think that's where he kind of thrives over these two guys, is that I think he's a little more athletic than them. So he's also another guy that I think would be like a pretty good cover three guy, somebody that can just run up the sideline, be long if the ball gets there. But he can give you some value in man coverage as well. He ran a pretty fast 40 combine there has helped me out. But besides even the 40, I mean, you can just look at his film. It seems like he runs a little better, right? He was a former wide receiver, and you can see that former wide receiver stuff come out of him. Like, you could just kind of see him knowing what's going to come next. So his anticipation is pretty good, you know. Now, the thing about Isaiah is that he's got a lot of cornerback to learn, which gives you another conversation about ceiling. You know what I mean? So if you can take that size and that athleticism, I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to do much turning or whatnot. But you teach him some of these cornerback techniques or whatever, then Isaiah Johnson can be a guy for you that, you know, you can use in confidence. Plug him in at safety sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I ain't saying nothing. Shawn Bunting from Central Michigan. Sure, Central Michigan. I think he's another former wide receiver guy. I don't know, but boy, I would like him to try some wide receiver. You know what I mean? Because like when he's biting on these routes, it looks like he's running routes. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a nasty ass coverage against a dig route against one of these teams. Forgot which team it was. I was watching film. I've been watching so much film, but man, it's like the receiver ran a dig. It's like Shawn Bunting ran the same damn dig the receiver ran, right? And he played the ball like he plays the ball really, really well. I think that's one of his better traits. Finding the ball, planting in the ground, digging, and really playing on it, and really getting his hands in there. I like Shawn Bunting, man. The only problem that you're probably going to have with him is like I saw in a couple scenarios that if you get behind him, then you behind him. You know what I mean? I don't think he has very much long speed or much like recovery speed or anything like that. I do think he can run within these routes or whatever. Like if it's like the first 15 or so yards, 20 yards, and you're good to go. You know, but if it's like a foot race type of deal, like him versus Tyreek Hill, nah, man, go get somebody else on. Get somebody else on Tyreek Hill. Also, he's like a nasty ass jam dude too. Like he really puts some nipple on the titty when it's time to jam, folks. He puts hot sauce on the wings when it's time to jam, guys. You know what I mean? It's like he really takes that personally. It's like in his mind, he jams guys as if, yo, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to cover you if I don't jam you well. But he does have some good coverage on the back end. And I'm saying a lot of good things about Shawn Bunting because I really feel good about these top 6 guys. But that's just the class that we're dealing with. But like in man coverage, get out of here, man. Shawn really makes babies, bro. Julian Love. I was pleasantly surprised with Julian Love. I was very excited to get in and watch more and more film of him, right? He was another guy that was kind of in the middle of my list or whatever. I was just going to kind of get to him. But he was another guy that just worked his way up my list. Fantastic man cover guy. Can he work in some zone? Sure, he can work in some zone, but I really like a man covering. I like him. He's another sticky guy. Sticky. He runs with guys very well. He reads really well. He plays the ball really well, plants his foot, and really breaks on these routes, man. I really like Julian Love. He's very similar to Shawn Bunting. These next 3 guys are very similar. Let's go ahead and run it. Justin Layne. Like these 3 guys are like man cover. Good luck to you. You know what I'm saying? I think Shawn and Julian can probably give you some help in the nickel if you need them to, but I like them outside. I like all three of these guys outside, and I think I think Justin has the advantage over Julian and Shawn because Justin's 6'2". His arms are like 3 inches longer than them or something like that. Just me guessing. He looks a little longer. Combine nerds help me out. He looks a little longer than them. I think he moves faster than them. I think he man covers better than them as well. Plus, he's tall and can move. You know how like these two guys, how like Jowan and Isaiah, how they're tall, but I don't really want them moving inside very much. How I just want to keep them on these outside routes, on these cover 3 joints. I kind of don't mind Justin Layne covering and running inside because he can cover really, really well. He doesn't really go for interceptions. Like he's cool with batting the ball out of the way. He got a lot of pass deflections. If you look at his game logs, he got a lot of pass deflections. But that comes with him being long, being able to get hands on the football and bat that shit out the way. But some coach can probably tell him, "Hey man, use 2 hands and catch the damn football." You know what I mean? But he's another sticky guy, just another sneaky sticky guy, and boy is he fantastic. Okay, cool. Now we're getting into our top 4 guys, and DeAndre Baker, who's another fantastic man cover guy. If you're a team that runs a lot of cover 0, like you do a lot of blitzing, cover 1 type stuff, then you could probably put DeAndre Baker on somebody and just let him fly. He did Deebo Samuel pretty filthy out there, man. He's really good at getting guys to the sideline and getting their ass out of there. You know what I mean? Like if you're an outside corner, then we use the sideline to our advantage. You know what I mean? Like we want to get you out of bounds. Like for one, it's less room for the quarterback to make throws, less room for you to make catches. Plus, if you're out of bounds and come back in, you can't catch the ball until somebody else touches it, right? And if you watch film on DeAndre, he gets guys the hell out of bounds. Good shit, DeAndre. Salute to you. Now, the reason I have, boy, oh boy, I was so pleasantly surprised with Rock Ya-Sin. I first heard of him in the Senior Bowl process, and just me watching the Senior Bowl unravel and Rock Ya-Sin make plays and, beat the hell out of people. Hey, man, Rock can play. But then when I watched film on him closely and I did a formal film session on him, I really got to, looking at the nuances of his game. I started looking at how he turns, looking at his hip movements, man. I did some more research. Rock Ya-Sin ain't even been playing cornerback very long. Like he was a receiver at first, something like that. But Rock Ya-Sin is still learning how to play corner. So his ceiling is really, really through the roof, right? If you look at just some of the plays that he loses on, there are technical plays. Like there are plays in which, like if he had a little more nuance, he would be okay. Like these like if it's like one of those Philly special plays, one of those dilly plays, or like a halfback pass, something that requires, just a little bit of, like if it's trips to one side or whatever, right, then he would have to process and like really understand what to do versus trips, like one of those situations, right? But if you tell Rock Ya-Sin to just line up on somebody and chase that dude around, good luck to you. Good luck, especially like in man. I like Rock Ya-Sin. I really had a problem. I really had issues with ranking these 3 guys at the top right here. DeAndre, Rock, and Greedy. You know what I mean? And my 2 concerns with Greedy and DeAndre is that I'm hearing that they may be I don't love football guys. They may really like football, but they may not love football guys. I think DeAndre likes football a little more than Greedy. And I think Greedy really likes football. You know what I'm saying? Greedy likes to play. But it's just that when you watch LSU and they're winning and they're in contention and it's very competitive, and Greedy, we got DK Metcalf this week. You can put fire under Greedy. Like Greedy plays really well then, right? But if there's nothing to play for and he's concerned about his draft status and, okay, we lost to Alabama or whatever, then Greedy really starts to decline a little bit. Not that I feel like he hates football, because some guys do. I think, and I actually think Greedy will continue to work at it or whatever, right? To continue to, work out, progress, and be great. But like when it's a contract year, if Greedy goes to a bad team and the team starts to lose, and can you really, you know what I mean? But I think Greedy's talent transcends that. Like, Greedy's so damn talented. He can shut down anybody. 6'2", 4'3", 40. Good luck to you. You know what I mean? Can move inside and outside. Can play inside breaks. Can run you up the sideline. Greedy's that dude. With Rock Ya-Sin, I don't have those issues of whether he loves football or not. You know what I mean? I don't think DeAndre is talented enough to defeat the don't love football narrative. If DeAndre didn't love football, Greedy if DeAndre didn't like football and Greedy didn't like football and Rock Ya-Sin loved football, and you put that in contrast to their talent, I can't deal with DeAndre not liking football. Give me Julian Love or something. You know what I mean? Give me one of these guys. Give me Layne. Give me Bunting. You know what I mean? DeAndre is talented, but I don't think that talent is enough to transcend don't love football. So give me Rock Ya-Sin over that. But Greedy is so talented. He's one of those guys to where you send somebody over to motivate him. You're like, yo, Greedy, man. Yo, Greedy, come to practice. You know? You remember, a lot of y'all don't remember this, but when Dez Bryant was a Cowboy or whatever, he was so talented that, like, Jerry Jones would, like, send security to make sure he's not getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that with Terrence Williams, right? If Terrence Williams getting in trouble, cool, we're just going to cut you. But Dez, no, we're going to send security to make sure he's straight. I think it's one of these situations, right? If DeAndre, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, DeAndre, cool, whatever. But Greedy, please, love football today. Be motivated today. Like, be great today. I think Greedy can shut down any, I ain't going to say all that. I take all that back. But Greedy will be fantastic on the next level in the National Football League or whatever. But I really like Rock Ya-Sin. Just that Greedy's fantastic with everything he does, man. But numero uno is Byron Murphy from Washington. And I think Byron Murphy I love smart football players, man. I love smart football players. And what puts Byron over Greedy, I don't think you have a problem with Byron showing up to play every day. Plus, he's super freaking talented. He's super freaking talented, right? Now, like I said, all this depends on what scheme you run. You know what I mean? Let me go back to my number 2. Let me go back to, because like if you run like a predominantly man cover deal or whatever, if you run a lot of cover 0, cover 1, don't get Murphy. Don't get Murphy. Go get Greedy. Go get Rock. Go get any one of these guys if you're like a mostly man cover team. Go get one of these cats, right? Greedy can play zone too. I think Greedy plays zone better than these next 5 guys, really. I think Greedy plays zone better than them, but Greedy really makes babies in man coverage. But as far as Byron Murphy, Byron can play man as well as some of the other guys on my list, but he really makes babies in his zone coverage or whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that gives him a lot of value, because if you're predominantly a cover 2 team, he could play that. If you're a cover 3 team, he could play that. 4, Tampa 2, he's good. Plus, if you want to throw in some man, I think Byron Murphy is talented enough to give you some value in the man in man coverage, right? You just don't see him lose a lot of reps. You just don't see him do it. And he plays every single game of the season. He plays them all hard. You ain't got to motivate him. He brings some attitude to the game. I really like Byron Murphy. Plus, he's smart and super IQ guy, right? Greedy Williams runs a damn 4.3, but Byron Murphy is always in position. He's always where he's supposed to be, which is kind of more valuable than a 4.3 in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's very close. Greedy versus Byron is very close, and it only came down to, you know, what I prefer. Some of the things I like. My top corner list may be totally different than your top corner list, but I really like smart football players. I like motivated football players. I like talented guys. I like attitude guys. And I think Byron Murphy kind of puts all that together really well, even though I think Greedy is a fantastic talent. And, you know, it mostly depends on your scheme or whatnot. Okay? I'm probably going to drop the safety video later, so tune into that. Like this video, comment, subscribe. Hey, man, draft is almost here, man. Don't forget about the merch and the Patreon. It's more important than food and water. Follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. And y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski and the Peasky Whiskey. Salute.